You're listening to the Riverdale Rewind on Charlotte CW.
Hey everyone, I'm Jess.
And I'm Nomi.
And you're listening to
the Riverdale Rewind.
Ooh, we did that really well.
I know, that was like the first time ever, but you're back from vacation.
I am back from vacation.
You missed you.
I went to the land of Scots and the land of Irish.
Did you get back a skirt, like a kilt?
I didn't. I think that's a male thing.
Oh.
But there were a lot. There were plentiful kilts on the Royal Mile. And I told my cousin he should get one, but he didn't. I did get a cool, you can look on my Instagram at JustWCCB. I got a cool shirt that says Scotland, but it looks like Star Wars font.
I'm pretty sure I see girls at that restaurant that wear kilts all the time.
Oh, the tilted kilt. Yes. Maybe a different vibe. I did a lot of Outlander stuff, though. Have you ever heard of Outlander, the show?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very like Danielle Steele for TV shows.
Oh, okay.
It's very like a romance novel come to life. It's so funny. But I went to a lot of things that are from that show because I was like, well, I don't know, it's historical sites, Battle of Culloden. I don't know, I saw some cool stuff. I ate a lot of cool stuff too, so if this chair breaks mid-podcast, you'll know why.
Well, I haven't been on vacation, this chair might break, so.
You were though, she was just there. We discussed this. You were just in Ireland and you warmed it up for me.
Yeah.
That guy over there, now what we are at is Heroes Aren't Hard to Find Comic Book Street on Pecan Avenue in Charlotte, and there's a guy walking across the street that looks like Jughead.
Oh my God,
he does.
He's
got the hat. I wish we could get him to come in.
Our coworker Joe.
He does look like him a little bit, yeah.
That's crazy.
If Joe was wearing a hat. Do you like these hats?
Yes. Oh, by the way, Jess made these hats.
And if you're just listening to this, check out my Instagram at JustWCCB, and you can check out a picture of these sweet Jughead hats I made. I feel very talented.
Yeah, I thought she bought them from Etsy.
Etsy? Yeah.
When she walked into the newsroom, and no, you made them.
I didn't. So yeah, we are live from Heroes Aren't Hard to Find Comic Book Store. This is their new location. And as you can see, we've got some Riverdale and Jughead comics. Look at all the hats here. And there are big events coming up always. They've got Heroes Convention will be in June, so that's in a while from now. And they also have MiniCon, which is always in January. So check on heroesonline.com if you want to find out more where you can find Heroes and their events, but we're thanking them for letting us be here and interrupt.
Crashing their party they have here pretty much. Because they're always busy. There's always somebody here.
So that's what you hear in the background if you're just listening. It's the live happenings of a comic book store. It's very cool. But we got to get into, last night's episode was called The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And I think that's an accurate title because it was all very dark.
It was very dark.
The tone was dark. And
this whole season has been like that, though.
Yeah. And the way they shoot it, just in like a production perspective, it's a really cool tone. Like the vibe of the show is very neat. The lighting, the colors, everything about it. I just like the actual look of the show aesthetically. If you're a fan of CW, it's a really cool one to check out. It's very dramatic, but then it always has a way of finding, you know what I mean? Like it's dramatic, but they don't take it quite over the ledge where you're like, this is too much. It's dramatic, but then they like kind of make fun of themselves a little bit and dial it back. Do you feel like it's way more dramatic than last season?
I feel like it's darker this season.
Yeah.
I feel like the drama is just the same. I felt like the first season was a little bit more comic booky, and I feel like this one's more of a mystery, less comic booky, even though they have like Easter eggs on every episode.
They do, yeah.
Like the name of this episode was actually a film.
Oh.
And it was actually released 1976. It was considered one of the first slasher films, actually.
Oh.
And I want to go more into detail on that, but I want to wait until we get to the casting recap.
Okay.
So
we will wait. But yeah, this season is way more about the crime, whereas last season, like there were some more episodes that were about like different issues going on with like the sub characters.
Right.
But this one really is hard following the plot, which makes me think that it's going to be a very involved plot and that we're not going to get to any kind of resolution. Like we will think we got there, and then it's going to flip it on its head for the post winter season.
So you're thinking that it's going to go right into the third season?
No, I think what'll happen is like we'll keep developing this plot, and you'll think like we're solving it, and then something will turn it, and then so I think we're gonna have a big mid-season finale, and that'll leave a big cliffhanger for the mid-season premiere, because They got a lot of episodes to keep
They really do.
sorting this out. But I also noticed that there's a lot of like kind of political implications in here, with the whole North Side versus South Side, and they even mentioned fake news. So I think a lot of the CW shows are good about kind of throwing in modern issues,
Right.
like current political issues, but without overdoing it.
Yeah, and you also have like the town talking about these issues, like the violence that is going on in their town, which is what we have in our current condition right now. A lot of violence.
A lot of violence, and a lot of this group versus this group blaming. It's a blame game.
Pointing fingers.
And ignoring the real problem. The real problem is there's a killer on the loose.
Right.
And they're, pointing fingers instead of solving it. But Betty seems to be very integral to solving who is the murderer. And before we get to our What the Pops moments, I wanted to talk about kind of like Betty, Archie, and the immaturity of these characters.
Okay.
And I know they're high schoolers, and I think they're doing a really good job of keeping it accurate to that kind of maturity level. No offense, high schoolers, but Archie and Betty are making very kind of
stupid decisions.
Stupid decisions. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Especially Archie. Like, I am just mind blown at the fact of what he's doing and what he's saying and how he's acting.
Yeah.
The gun, the videos, the going out and spray painting at night,
Yes.
like on his own by himself, and then not only that, but taking the gun out of the bag and like threatening the Southsiders.
Yeah.
Like,
and he was very much sticking to his guns, literally, even when people confronted him about stopping it.
Yes.
But I think was it admirable or immature?
I think 100% this is the most foolish he's ever been out of both seasons.
Do you think Archie's a likable character? A lot of people don't like Archie.
Really?
Yeah.
I like him. I think he always does the good and like does the right thing. He always wants to do the right thing. He wants to be the hero of the community.
But I don't think he's the moral compass this season, because he's
No,
been making
I
a lot
think
of
he's
just like
fallen
off
off
the cuff
track.
decisions. Yeah. And then now Betty getting these clues, and Kevin could be to blame too, because they're both not taking the clues to the police instead of just trying to figure it out on their
See,
own.
I don't know if that's immature though. I mean, that's kind of like protecting people in
You
a
think
way,
so? I think it's kind of an immaturity. Like a mature person would be like, I need to give this to a law enforcement authority. But instead, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, but Kevin, his dad, is the sheriff, and he didn't even go to his dad.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're both
Like,
they're both to
so-
blame.
I don't know. I don't think she's in the wrong there.
You don't? Okay. Well, I like that we have differing opinions, because I think the Betty is being too risky. Like I'm sure she's scared, but I think if that were me in that situation, and I'm probably double Betty's age, I would go straight to the police and then get in like witness protection and all that stuff, because that's terrifying. If you're getting like calls from a hooded killer and
Yeah,
they say
and
that
that was
they're
at
doing
the end
it
of
for
the
you,
episode,
yeah,
which is creepy.
that was creepy.
I would like to know the app that the killer used, though.
Oh, there's a lot that can like scramble a call probably,
Really?
but I'm sure any forensic people could figure it out.
Probably.
Yeah. So let's talk about our What the Pops moments, the biggest moments of the episode. What was yours?
I was gonna say Betty getting the letter
Yeah.
and knowing that what he's doing is for her.
I think my What the Pops moments, I had two, but one of the main ones was that Veronica said she threw out that gun into the Sweetwater River, and she
Right.
didn't.
And she used it.
Yeah, which is like, what are you doing?
That's very
That's
lodgy.
yes, very lodgy of her. So I thought that had showed a lot of her character, and that she would say she threw it out and then did not, and was willing to like have it on her person. So that's I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot to the Lodge family, and I think they're going to be involved in all these murders. But my other one was just that Archie would pull out the gun on somebody.
Yeah, I saw that coming. I thought it was going to actually happen sooner. I thought it was going to actually happen when he first got the gun
Yeah.
and accidentally shoot somebody. That's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised it took him this long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not surprising.
I think that he's kind of getting a little in over his head.
Absolutely.
And that I think he's acting irrationally. That like he's just acting impulsively. So I want to talk about the Lodge family, because the whole interesting thing with like Hiram actually kind of put Archie on making that video, and then,
convincing him, like basically giving him the idea to execute the video.
Yeah, and then comes back and is like, oh, I don't want my daughter with somebody who would do a video like that.
It's very
and then
hypocritical.
when she confronts him, he's like, no, I didn't. So do you think, here's my question. The town's divided right now. Do you think Hiram is in here orchestrating this divide?
Yeah, I think he has his hand in it somewhere.
And like, for what gain?
That I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know. But if you remember that at the end of the episode, he turns to Mrs. Lodge and was like, oh, this might be good for us because Fred Andrews was being the good guy, sticking to his guns and, you know, going against Alice.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is good for us.
Fun point. I just realized her name was Alice Cooper.
I know. Last episode, or maybe it was last episode, I was like, wait, Alice Cooper?
Wait,
wait,
I texted my boss, I was like, has her name always been Alice Cooper? Did I just figure this out? And is that what the band is named after? Maybe. I think that's hysterical. I did not realize that. Another thing we have to talk about, though, Bughead. Trouble in Paradise for Bughead.
Yes.
Okay, Tony, thoughts? What do you think that's going to happen there?
I think, first of all, Betty's being very mature. She's being a woman instead of a girl by being like, okay, like, I'm not going to be that jealous, crazy, Flavor Flav girlfriend type person.
She is pretty even-headed when it comes to
But she's not communicating with her significant other. You could tell she's hiding her feelings and she is bothered.
Yes.
Even though she's acting like a woman, she's not hiding. She's not fooling us.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. We could tell in her face, in her body language, that she's upset by this.
Will this whole Jughead working with Tony cause a rift, and will the whole idea of that the killer is working for Betty and that Archie's so involved, will it bring those two closer?
I think they're going to divide more. Archie and Betty are
You
going
think
to divide
so?
more.
Okay.
Yes, because he's doing it for her. He is trying to end it all, and he was basically, his family was targeted.
Yeah.
So,
and right now he doesn't know that the killer's doing it for Betty.
right.
Do you think there's any way in which here's an interesting idea. The mom is really a serpent from the past.
Right.
She has that the long lost son. Do you think there's some way that Mrs. Alice Cooper and the long lost son are involved in this murder plot?
So the son would have been too young. If you could tell by the killer's eyes,
He's older looking.
He is older looking. But I mean, there could be some kind of connection. I wouldn't doubt that. Obviously, it's somebody who has known Betty since she was a child.
Yeah.
Because of, hey, you're the only one who could solve this code, going to the library, knowing that she checked out this book all the time.
Yeah. Do you think, well, it always kind of looks like the dad, but I think that her dad has blue eyes.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's somebody we know, or is it just like a wild card character?
I have no idea. I have no idea, because I always look at everybody's eyes.
Yeah, I do too.
And
people are saying like maybe
closest person is her dad.
Right, but that's
But
weird.
I don't think it is.
I think it's too easy to assume it's the dad. So I think it's going to be a wild card character we don't know. And then I really also think that I think before the mid-season finale we might figure out who the killer is, but that it's not. They're a henchman.
Right.
And it's orchestrated by some higher thing. That's my thoughts on it. I'm not sure. A funny thing that I picked up was Kevin, when he was talking to Betty about how he's going to quit Cruise in the Forest and he's going back on a dating site.
Yeah.
It was called redstatemeat.com. And first of all, I thought that meant meat, M-E-A-T. And so I looked it up, and it's Warner Brother owns the website. It doesn't exist. But if you type in Redstate, MEAAT.com, it goes to like a Warner Brother, and it's like, maybe you suggest going to HarryPotter.com instead. I'm not even kidding. You need to look. I screenshot it. I can put the screenshot up on our page notes. But then I tried Redstate Meat, M-E-E-T, show you where my mind's at.
Well, that's what I thought, M-E-A-T.
I did too. I don't know why.
Maybe because we're dirty people.
Yeah, this may be why. So I checked out at redstatemeat.com, and nothing comes up there. But I thought it was funny that Warner Brothers went ahead and bought. I guess if you're going to mention something on one of your shows,
they're going to take full advantage of it.
Yes. And then another weird thing, have you ever watched the show Fringe?
Fringe, no.
It was a long time ago on Fox. If you, JD, our videographer, has watched it, doesn't Principal Weatherby look like the guy on Fringe? Yes, he does. We have an agreement. So if you've watched Fringe out there, I only watched like 2 episodes of it, so I just remember that he looks like the one creepy character. Principal Weatherby's creepy.
He is. I agree with that, and I can't get a grasp on what he's feeling right now because it's like he supports the students, and then he doesn't support the students, and then he supports the students. I don't know where he is. Is he just trying to be the middle ground? I have no idea.
I think he feels like the students are taking away his power, and he has to like regain it back. Like the most powerful person on the north side right now is Archie.
Right.
And so I feel like he's like, I gotta make a quick decision and cancel football.
Right.
You know, so, and I don't think that gets anyone anywhere except making everybody more mad at him and Archie, but now everybody ganged back with Archie. The Veronica standing by her man making the shirts, do you agree with how she's been acting?
Did?
Yeah.
I think I like the fact that she's trying to be supportive, but it goes to show you what kind of time we're living into, that they're trying to materialize it.
Yeah.
Like, let's all make shirts and be all in this club, and that's what it is. It's not exactly what the issue is. It's all about the stuff. It's all about the fluff. We need to make it more designer, and then people will get into it. It's not because of what's happening.
It's like her best effort is designer shirt. Yeah.
It's not the issues. It's the designer stuff.
Although we should make shirts.
We should make
We should make red circle shirts. But Veronica, well, she's a great example of like when people just change their Facebook photo to like, I support whatever tragedy just happened.
Right.
But she is helping him. Do you think she's like, not blinded by love, but like, it's funny because she's almost like hypocritical with like her mom standing by her dad, even though her dad has done a lot of bad things. She's doing the same thing.
But it's all for good things, though.
True.
Like, I mean, Archie is trying to improve the community and is trying to solve the issue.
But maybe not in the best way.
Maybe not, but that's him being a teenager and being immature.
And since her dad did orchestrate the whole thing, I think maybe it's ironic that her standing by Archie is making her essentially stand by her dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like being a rebel, but also wanting to imitate the relationship that her parents have and how tight they are.
I think there's a lot of layers to the Lodge family that we'll find out. I think there's also
They're the
probably,
scariest family.
They're scary, yeah. But
last season it was the Blossoms. This season it's the Lodges.
I know, like Cheryl didn't even have to be in this episode for it to be full blown creepy.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing Cheryl.
Yeah,
I do.
she's awesome.
We should dress like Cheryl next episode, like a full red lip.
She's like a demented cheerleader.
That's
what it is. That's what she is. She's a demented cheerleader. She is off the wall.
Yeah, but can you blame her for being a little off?
It's all the syrup.
It's all that syrup. Don't be hitting the syrup too hard. I feel like I've had too much like candy syrup from Halloween. Sugar is a real addiction problem. Don't eat too much sugar. So we got to go into Jughead's journals.
Yes.
So what were, like, okay, I thought, so we always do Jughead's journals, and it's kind of like, what do you think Jughead would be listening to? Because he's such a dark, brooding dude. And I would assume it was around Halloween there, too. What do you think Jughead does for Halloween?
I think Jughead probably, this is what he does. I know exactly what he does, okay? He buys the candy, trying to be a good person, okay? He maybe hands out candy for the first hour, but then he brings the candy in, puts out an empty bowl outside, and puts a sign saying, please take one, and takes all the candy for himself.
That's a very detailed.
So it looks like he's being a good person.
I'm trying to follow your mind, like where that's going. I'm like, okay.
So it seems like he's a good person, and just some evil kid took all the candy.
I feel like he just doesn't care. I feel like he just goes and gets a couple cheeseburgers and watches some horror flicks and calls it a night. Reads maybe more of those like horror books he's renting from the library. I do like that the show kind of fits in with like it was Halloween and it's like a scary slasher show. I noticed that they had some really cool music this episode. I noticed because I was Shazamming slamming from my couch. This song, It's a Trip by Joywave, was one of the opening songs. And then they had Bones by Alexandra Savior, also a good song. So check out some of the tunes from the show. They really do, I think, a very good job of, like, MTV barely exists anymore, and I think that shows like CW shows really are the MTV of the modern era.
Their track list is phenomenal. Like it's everything. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I want to listen to it. Like, and you just download it.
Yeah.
They have a great playlist all season long. Yeah. And even the first season they did too.
Yeah. I think they've even improved upon it this year. But it's definitely, I don't know, the show is really, it's very modern. That's why, like, it's very kind of on the edge. What else do you think that, what do you think that Jughead is going to be kind of, I know that he's been sitting with the serpents.
Right, for protection.
Yeah. Do you think that he's going to maybe turn more toward the serpent side, especially during all this hoopla?
I think he has no choice. I think he's going to be forced to. I said it actually with Tanya a couple of weeks ago. I think he has no choice. He's going to be forced to do it. Yeah. And there's just no other option.
No.
Ever since he went to that school, there was no other option.
That school, man. That school is
creepy.
Creepy. How does that get by in the school system?
I don't know, but they talked about closing it and taking that money and using it for the north side.
Yeah. The poor south side. Now I feel like I always root for the underdog, so I feel like I root for the south side.
So I do have a theory for this season. There's going to be 4 more victims. 5 more victims. The next one's going to be Polly Cooper.
You think Polly Cooper is going to get killed?
It's going to go down. Okay, this is why. Okay, I looked up the name of the episode, and it's The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Well, that is the first slasher film that kind of started that whole era back in 1976. Okay. And it was based off a true crime type deal. Yeah. They never named the killer, but he attacked 8 people. Okay.
So you think it's following this same plot line?
Yes. They did mention the Phantom Killer, which is what that true crime was about. Okay. In the very, very beginning. So I think that there's going to be 8. So we have Fred Andrews, which is the first guy who got attacked.
And he didn't get killed, though.
Right. But he was attacked. Yes. Miss Grundy, killed. Moose and Midge, which I don't know if that's 1 attack or 2 attacks.
I guess it would be 2 people.
And then my next one's going to be Polly Cooper because she's doing it for Betty. Yeah. She said in the promo, which you can find under our show notes on WCCBCharlotte.com. But her mom really didn't do anything.
Yeah, she did, though. Think about it. She turned down her South Side pass and gave a child up for adoption. So he could, if he's doing it for Betty, he could say that the mom, because the mom stresses her out. Right. Could be the mom. Could be the dad. Didn't the dad
but she said, she's like, please don't hurt her. Okay. And Polly moved away, and she's pregnant with her cousin's baby. Yeah. I mean, as a teenager, not married.
Babies. Yeah. Twins. Okay, well, that's a good theory. Who else would be on the axe list?
Oh, no. But 8 total victims is my guess.
I wonder if they'll come after Jughead at some point.
I don't know. Depends if he does something bad.
What if they come after Tony? Because the
she has done something bad, and she's working on breaking them up. Maybe.
I don't know. That's a good theory. I would like to not see 8 deaths.
Well, attacks in general. Just attacks in general.
Attempted murders.
Kevin will be one of them.
You think so?
Yes. Okay. Because he is a gay guy.
We won't lose Kevin, though.
We won't lose him.
Important.
But I think he will be attacked.
By a Red State meat guy. And, okay, that was creepy. Was it this episode or last episode?
Last episode.
Where you thought he got stabbed?
Stabbed in the stomach.
That was creepy. And I really thought that was an attack. But I'm glad he stopped cruising the forest, because that's a very, that could actually happen, legitimately.
Yeah. That could happen just dating sites in general.
Yeah, just bumbling. Yeah. You definitely get stabbed in the gut.
Creepy.
Be careful when you bumble. Be careful out there, kids.
This is not funny, but
this is our PSA. Be careful out there. Well, I think we should wrap it up, because I think there's so much to talk about that we can go on for hours, and you guys aren't going to want to listen to this for hours. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But we'll be back again next week. And if you were in the Charlotte area, or if you're not, you can go on heroesonline.com. Again, we are in Heroes Aren't Hard to Find comic book store. You can see they've got a vast array of comics, including the Riverdale ones, Archie, Jughead. There's Carla back there. Carla's waving. She helps organize Heroes Con every summer, so if you're out of town, make plans, come in if you like comic books. So yeah, find Heroes aren't hard to find on Pecan. They're not hard to find. They're on Pecan. They're right by a bunch of restaurants, and I keep staring at Bang Bang Burgers, and maybe it's the Jughead in me that I'm like, I want to go to that Bang Bang Burgers across the street.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening to Riverdale Rewind, and we'll catch you next week.